Back, everyone. Some very ugly allegations of sexual abuse have reached all the way to Buckingham Palace. Prince Andrew is fighting back, and so is a very angry Alan Dershowitz. You heard from him just a few moments ago here on CNN. Now I want to get two of America's top lawyers to weigh in on this. Joining me now is Mark Geragos, CNN legal analyst and defense attorney, and also attorney Gloria Allred. Good evening to both of you. Happy New Year, by the way. Gloria,
thank you.
What is your reaction to these very serious allegations being hurled towards Alan Dershowitz and Prince Andrew?
Well, Don, let me just say that, first of all, I think this was the best denial by a person accused of a crime that I have ever seen and heard, the denial by Alan Dershowitz. It was a point-by-point denial. And I might add that this is very different than what Bill Cosby did. He should take a lesson from Alan Dershowitz and also issue point-by-point denials if, in fact, he can do so about all of the persons who have alleged that they are victims of Bill Cosby. Also, Alan Dershowitz did say that he would waive and not assert the statute of limitations as a defense.
That's what you want from Bill Cosby.
Yes, exactly. That's what I proposed several weeks ago. He is inviting these, the woman or women who are alleging that he committed a crime to sue him. He will not assert the statute of limitations, not say that it's time barred as a defense, and he can do that. So could Bill Cosby, but Bill Cosby has not accepted my challenge. And when I said, why don't you invite all of the women who are making accusations to sue you and not assert the statute of limitations, you could do that. Let a judge and jury decide. That's what Alan Dershowitz is saying. Why doesn't Bill Cosby do the same?
I want to bring Mark in now and get your reaction to this. Both men clearly on the offensive about those allegations and what their actions will be. So what do you make of it, Mark?
Well, interestingly, when Gloria talks about Bill Cosby, they're both there's kind of a symbiotic relationship between what's happening here. On one hand, Alan, I think, and I agree with Gloria, it was a wonderful defense and a opening statement combined with a closing argument all in one, and he's clearly frustrated by this. The problem is that he has an enormous hurdle in order to try to get anything done to the lawyers, number one, because of what's called the litigation privilege, and number two, doing anything in terms of suing for defamation. So what he's doing is he's trying to draw them out to say something so that they'll step outside of the litigation privilege, number one. Well, that's exactly what Gloria is trying to do with Bill Cosby, because there's a great frustration there because of the statute of limitations that Gloria is faced with her own clients, and that's one of the reasons that Marty Singer, I assume, is advising Cosby to just shut down, not say anything, because you do not want to give Gloria the opportunity to come in and sue him for saying something or reiterating something. So you're watching two kind of legal dances, if you will, taking place here. The problem is that ultimately, at the end of the day, at least for Alan, the only place where he may get some kind of satisfaction, and he mentioned it when you were interviewing him, is in London, not in the U.S. London has some pretty good ways to come after people who say things about you, and clearly he would have the wind at his back in London.
But also in the court of public opinion and in perception, because if someone makes an allegation about you, many times people believe it to be true, even if it is not true. He is defending himself from the start here. My question to you, though, is would the attorneys representing Virginia Roberts have investigated these claims before filing them? Wouldn't they have investigated all of this? I mean, if Dershowitz is right and they have no evidence, they're really in a dicey situation.
Well, they can always, if they don't get anywhere, and if they had sued Alan, yes, you have malicious prosecution, abusive process. The problem is, and Alan mentioned it in his statement to you, he's not a named party here. He's talked about in the lawsuit, but he wants to insinuate himself into the lawsuit. That's what he said. He's going to try to let the court give him standing so he can conduct discovery, so he can do things. He's in a kind of a legal no man's land in the U.S. at least, because he's not a party to that lawsuit. It's the U.S. government, it's the Jane Does, and the lawyers, obviously, representing each of the respective parties.
Yeah. Gloria, he said that Virginia Roberts and her attorneys were actually hurting rape victims or doing quite a disservice to rape victims. You represent sexual assault victims. Is he right?
Well, no, I don't agree with him that they're hurting rape victims. I mean, these allegations are either true or they're false. He's denying it. He's giving facts. He's offering them. He says, look at my passport, look at the plain manifest, talk to my wife, talk to my daughter. They were all there. I was never alone. He was giving facts point by point. And, you know, he's suggesting this should be decided in a court of law. Mark is right that there is something called the litigation privilege. If, in fact, this was only said in a filed motion, which apparently it was, a motion to add Jane Doe's to the existing lawsuit, then he's not going to be able to, you know, fight it out in that lawsuit unless his deposition is taken. And, of course, the attorneys for the alleged victims of Jane Doe's are saying they've been trying to take his deposition. Whether it's in a different case or this, I don't know. And so, you know, we'll have to see. But no, I wouldn't generalize this. You know, often rape victims or alleged victims don't even report because they're afraid of being attacked. And you can't generalize from one case at all.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gloria Allred and Alan Dershowitz.